We now come to a body of literature that is often misunderstood in the Bible, the wisdom literature. The wisdom literature are the Proverbs, Job, Ecclesiastes, and the Song of Songs. The wisdom books, according to Derek Kidner, summon us to think hard as well as humbly, to keep our eyes open, to use our conscience and our common sense, and not to shirk disturbing questions. The imperative of wisdom literature is think. The theological foundation of wisdom is the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So, starting with this theological foundation and using salvation history story, the wisdom books build a practical theology for living each day. The goal of wisdom literature is the formation of godly character. The basic approach to life is seen in the Proverbs. The Proverbs present the rational, ordered norms of life. The teachings are norms, not universals. Job gives us a picture of the suffering of the righteous. The proverbial approach cannot grasp or understand every aspect of life. Tragedy strikes, though, even the wise and the righteous. In tragedy, we rely upon the Creator. Ecclesiastes shows us the failure of the rational to provide meaning to life. It teaches us that there's an intellectual search for meaning in life, that numerous exceptions to the ordered rational universe are revealed. And thirdly, the meaning in life only found through a relationship with God. The Song of Songs is the irrationality of romantic love. It celebrates the wild, irrational, mushy, and corny aspects of true love. A large majority of wisdom literature is poetic. Parallelism is the standard structural feature of wisdom literature. If only my anguish could be weighed and all my misery placed on scales. Job 6:2. Your cheeks are beautiful with earrings, your neck with strings of pearls. Wisdom literature also relies on figurative imagery to communicate its message. In the Proverbs, always remember that individual proverbs reflect general nuggets of wisdom and not universal truths. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. So if you're going to be preaching or teaching from the wisdom books, let's take an example in Proverbs. Step 1, grasp the text in their town. Explore the literary context. That is, note not only your passage, but what comes before it and after it. Then note the structure and the basic units of the entire book. Step 2 is to measure the width of the river. Note that the Proverbs are written in an agrarian context. Note the references to the kings. Step 3, develop the principles and cross that bridge. Typically, the proverb is already a general principle. Remember, these are not universal promises. Step 4, consult the biblical map. Many themes of Proverbs are affirmed in the New Testament. However, the theme of wealth as a blessing from God does undergo an alteration in the New Testament. Step number 5, grasp the text in their town. Catch the big picture of being what the text tells us to be. In Job, always remember to situate smaller passages in the context of the complete story. For example, we see in chapter 1, Job is afflicted. Part of chapter 2, Job and his friends search unsuccessfully for a rational answer. In chapter 38 to 42, God answers Job's accusations. Chapter 42, Job's friends are rebuked and Job is restored. So in Job, step 1 is identify the literary context. Find the central lessons that are not seen until chapter 38 through chapter 42, that Job's friends are negative characters not to be emulated. Step 2. In Job, measure the width of the river. We cannot assume all tragedy is connected to satanic involvement. Draw your principles. The river is narrow and shallow, so the principles are fairly straightforward. The New Testament does not repeat the picture of peace and prosperity as a result of righteous living. Step 4. And step 4, consult the biblical map. The New Testament suggests that righteous people glorify God by enduring unjust suffering. Step 5, you make your application by grasping the text in their town. Our focus in grief should not be on why, but on God and His character. Hurt and suffer with those who experience such tragedy. In Ecclesiastes, always remember to interpret passages in light of the entire book, and the ultimate answer is found at the end. Hebel. Things that look as if they have substance, but in reality do not. Now it's your turn to try one. Take the next series of slides in Ecclesiastes and use the steps, follow the steps of the method, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and see how you do, and see what you come up with. In the Song of Songs, it's a collection of love poems between a young man and a young woman. Note the basic outline of the book here. Now it's your turn. Try taking the Song of Songs through the grid of the model and see if you come up with what the authors came up with.